All right, in this video, we finished up the sandwiches last time, and now we're going to go ahead and finish up the crew, the contact, and our footer. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. This is the way our website looks like right now. So there is our sandwich section, and then this is our crew. Nothing there yet. So let's go ahead and work on that. I made this a little bit easy for you. So here's our crew section we have to populate. If you go into the sandwich content, you can see that I have done a good job of getting all the HTML there. Having you retype it and copy and paste in that seems like a lot, but if I was you, I would type as much as this as I can, maybe putting it at side by side, so you get used to being able to type it in and understanding why this structure is here. But I also didn't want to labor the issue, and so here we go. Notice how I've also commented out whenever you have multiple closing tags. So we have lots of section, close section, lots of close article. I have went ahead and I have commented each of those, and then you're going to find that helps you a lot in projects by you don't have to comment every single one. I didn't comment the paragraph, but you want to comment anytime you have multiple containers because it really helps you understand your HTML and you'll find things pretty easy also. So let's go into index. So we have this section here. Whoops, not this section. This section here. This is what we want to go ahead and replace. And actually, I think I have the section tags too. Make sure. Yes, I do. So we're actually going to grab the section, open and close section tags also, and overwrite them by pasting it in. Control V. Boom. Done. Now the only thing I want to do is you can see that it's not looking very good as far as tab wise. So we need to fix that, and Sublime Text makes that very easy. So let's see, where are we? Section crew is here. So this all should be inside it. So I'm going to go down here, and actually this should be moved over too. And I'm just going to press the tab, and you can see it moves over nicely. And now this closed section is right above section, and these are all children inside it. So Sublime Text makes it very easy to keep everything really nicely organized. All right, well, let's do a file and save all and see what we've got. You can't see that. And here we go. So there we go. So looks a little bit different than here. We want them all to be side by side. So we're going to have to do that with styling. So let's go ahead and get that done. All right, so we're going to go into our styles.css. Last thing we did with our sandwiches. So now we want to go ahead and do it with our crew. So the first thing we want to do is center this H2 that we have. So we'll do section hash crew H2, and we'll do text align center. Now we've done that for each one of those sections. So we actually, one of the things we could have done is we could have went section H2, text align center. And by doing that, we wouldn't have had to do it in each one. So I'm trying to think where I'm sure in the about section, no, I guess the about section, we didn't do it there. And that could cause some sort of problems. Text align center for all the sandwiches. So everything is centered there. So each one a little bit different. All right, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go ahead and center things as I work my way down. So text align center, we'll do file, save all, and refresh. And then that moved over. That's the only thing it did. All right, so now we're ready to move on to the articles themselves. So we have section, hash, crew, article. So all the articles inside the section with an ID of crew. And what we want to do is we want to display them inline block. That's going to move them side by side. But it's not going to do it unless we change the width. All right, so we'll do width, and we'll do 33% because since there's 3 of them, that's actually 33 and a third, but we want a little bit of fudge in there. So let's do File and Save All and refresh. Boom. And now they're side by side. We are going to have some problems though, because we're going to be adding some padding. So let's go ahead and do that. And let's see if that breaks everything. We'll do padding. And we want to do 0 up and down. And we want to do 20 pixels left and right. And we'll do File, Save All, and refresh. You can see that it broke. This is now moved down here because when we added the padding, we actually made these larger than 33%. It was 33% for each one plus the padding. So we can fix that. And we can do that by saying, hey, add the padding. Make sure the padding is part of the size of the box. So we're going to do box sizing. And then we're going to do border box. So by default, content sizing says make it the size of the content, but then add padding on top of that. So that's content box. So border box adds border and it adds padding to the size of that. So now, did I save it? And File, Save All, and then refresh. Boom. And now he's back up where he belongs because now the padding is part of the size. So we actually have a little bit of fudge room. If we put boxes around all that, we can see that there's probably a little bit more space on this side than there is on this side. But in this fudge thing, it's okay. Now we can see that I should probably have to make this window bigger for everything to look correct. But let me just go ahead and make it a little bit smaller. Control minus. There we go. All right, so what we want to do is, even this is pretty narrow, but we want to take this text and wrap it around that picture. And we also want to take these pictures and make them slightly smaller. So let's go ahead and do all that. So we're going to do section, hash, crew, article, what am I? Article, there we go. Thank goodness for color coding. So when I make my typos, which I do a lot. Okay, so we're going to do a width and just make it 200 pixels. Come on now. And we'll do File, Save All, and refresh. You can see now the picture's a little bit smaller. And now we're going to go ahead and bring those up. And we're going to do that by floating the picture. So we're going to do float. And we're going to float it to the left. File, Save All, and refresh. Nice. But you can see that text is touching that picture because there's nothing in between the picture. As far as this text is concerned, it would love to run underneath that picture because this, remember, when we float it, we removed it from the DOM. But the browser will not allow that text to go running underneath that. All right, so the next thing we have to do is add some margin to that picture to push this that way. All right. And so we're going to do, we're going to do margin, right? Come on, dash right? There we go. Margin right, 10 pixels. And then do File and Save All. And refresh. Nice. Okay, this is already a 10-minute one. We're probably going to have to do 2 videos on this because that took a lot of time. Okay, but notice, let me just go ahead and before I leave, because we'll do another video after this one for the form and for the footer. You can see that nice, it spreads out. And as we come in, at a certain point, this is going to break. And the point, as you can see, is right about here. We really don't need this to be that way. So there's a couple things we can do. One is we can make these pictures a little bit smaller, right? That's another way of doing it. And the other thing would be to then take the text once it gets this now and just put it on the bottom. That's probably what we'll do. Is probably just remove the float and have this picture center up here, and then have all the text float underneath. Not float underneath. Flow underneath, because then we'll turn them back. This will no longer be a block level, I mean a floating element. It will be just an inline element. All right, well that's it for this video, and then we'll move on to the contact and the footer after this.